Shohei Ohtani steps on the mound once again and looks to help the Dodgers do something to the Cincinnati Reds that hasn't happened all season long. This is MLB Game Night.
When that final out is made, you know it's time for Locked On MLB Game Night. All the post-game reactions to every game across the league, every single night, with insights only the hosts at Locked On can provide. Prepare to experience game day reactions like never before. Only on Locked On MLB Game Night. Your team every day.
Welcome into the MLB Game Night, where it's every game, every night. My name is Jon Frisch. I'm one half of Locked On Angels, hanging my head in shame, and we'll talk about that. With me is a man who was cut from Dancing with the Stars for using too many finger guns. That's J.D. Hafron from Locked On Cardinals. Hey, coming up on today's show, the race for first place in the NL East is officially back on. And how about a 41-minute bottom of the third for the New York Yankees? And baseball's top pitching prospect gets his first major league win against JD's Redbirds. JD. That's all coming up on today's show. But first, let's thank our friends over at Gametime. Download the Gametime app, create an account, use the code LOCKEDONMLB for $20 off your first purchase. JD, we're going to take it to the West Coast, where I'm at, as the Reds and the Dodgers complete their series in LA. Shohei Ohtani is back on the bump for Los Angeles, and they're looking to hand the Cincinnati Reds their first sweep all season long. Jeff Carr of Locked On Reds has hung his hat on the fact that the Reds had not been swept in a series yet. Now, Ohtani has struggled over his last two starts against the Angels and the Rockies. He took his first losing decision against Colorado last Wednesday, but this time, JD, Ohtani looked like the Ohtani of old on the mound. This time he went 5 innings pitched, gave up 2 hits, and one of those was a solo home run from Noelvi Marte. Just 1 earned run across those 5 innings. But the biggest stat here, the biggest takeaway, is the fact that he struck out 9 across those 5 innings.
How many times?
9 times.
9 times.
the Ed Rooney special, as you called it yesterday. Now, he threw the splitter again, which was fantastic. Touched 100 miles an hour 4 times in this one and had a 37% whiff rate. Now, you know that I'm brokenhearted that he left my team, but those numbers right there, that tells me that Ohtani is on his way back, and we'll talk about that a little bit more. But first, the Reds, they're swept for the first time this season. Jeff Carr from Locked On Reds, he's not handling it very well.
19 strikeouts. I honestly didn't know a team could strike out that much in one game. I mean, technically you could strike out 27 times, but good Lord. You talk about a lifeless effort. Absolutely no life. Noelvi Marte hit a home run, and that was it. Reds were 0 for 6 with runners in scoring position. They didn't get a hit after that Noelvi Marte home run in the 3rd inning until the 7th inning. And Michael Conforto, who I think he was batting $180 coming into this series, now is almost up to the Mendoza line. For some reason, he hits really well against the Reds. I don't know. The Dodgers have outclassed the Reds in their season series. They may have very well knocked them too far back in the playoff race now because the Mets swept the Phillies, so the Reds are 4.5 back. This is... I am straight up not having fun watching the Reds right now.
Something about Jeff's video makes me think Charlie Brown. He's sitting there laying on the side there.
Or he's waiting to get his head chopped off like a guillotine or something like that. It's okay, buddy. We're going to get through this.
You're going to be all right. Hey, it was a 5-1 Dodgers victory, the first sweep the Reds have had all season, and this was Ohtani's first winning decision of the year and the furthest he's gone in a game so far. Now, JD, I know Shohei has had his ups and downs on the mound so far, but he can't have any rehab starts. He can't be in the minor leagues, can't go pitching down there. So he's kind of had to work his way back to pitching at the highest level since June. So I want to ask you, how do you think the plan for him has gone so far? Do you think he'll be ready for the playoffs? Do you think they'll even need him with the rotation that they have in the playoffs? What say you?
I think it's gone about as perfectly as they could ask it to go, because not only has he escaped any more injuries or really any setbacks, had the one game against Cincinnati in Cincinnati where he left with the cramping and everybody was like, what happened? And he was fine. But he's revving it up just in time for him to be like a full-on 100%, I will be your starter and try to give you 7 innings by the time the playoffs roll around.
Yeah.
And that's exactly what they wanted out of him. Being able to get through all of these different injuries with guys like Blake Snell and Tyler Glass now. Roki Sasaki was not able to help them at all this year, really. And for them to still be where they are and getting a full go Shohei Ohtani back on the mound, things are kind of going right according to plan, just the way the Dodgers dreamed it would.
Yeah, and even when you're in those playoff series, how often do we see guys go 7 innings anymore? I'm thinking, man, 5 out of Ohtani to start a game in a playoff game, like that's going to get the job done. In my opinion.
Their biggest weakness right now is the bullpen, just due to injuries and stuff. They're starting to get guys back, so look out. Dodgers are coming once again.
Yeah, exactly. Hey, let's take it to the East Coast, where this series between the Phillies and the Mets, when it began, the Mets were 7 games back of first place in the NL East behind the Phillies. Tonight, the New York Mets look to shrink the Phillies lead to 4 and sweep them in a 3-game set. Who would get it done for the Mets tonight? Let's turn it over to Ryan of Locked On Mets to find out.
The New York Mets have a new ace, and his name is Nolan McLean. What an unbelievable performance by the Mets rookie, leading them to a series sweep over the Phillies. They're now just 4 games back in the NL East. This is Ryan Finkelstein, the host of Locked On Mets, and while there is plenty to like from the Mets offense in this game, namely Mark Vientos, who hit a 2-run homer and drove in 3, it's all about Nolan McLean. They called this kid up, and he has quite literally saved the Mets starting rotation. He's 3-0. He's got a 0.89 ERA, and going up against the division rival Philadelphia Phillies in a huge game in front of a sold-out crowd, Nolan McLean just stepped up, and he threw strikes all night long. His pitch count was remarkably low. He gives the Mets 8 scoreless innings on 95 pitches, and here's the crazy one for me. 71 strikes on those 95 pitches. Didn't walk a batter, trusted his defense, kept the ball on the ground, and Nolan McLean just absolutely dominated. It's crazy to say it because he's only made 3 big league starts, but this guy is not only the ace of the future, he's the ace of the present for the New York Mets, and there's every chance that he's going to be starting a playoff game, if not game 1 of a playoff series. It's really impressive what he's done, and now it's appointment television. That's the guy you want to watch every 5 days or every 6 days. It's Nolan McLean, the New York Mets' new ace.
Yeah, not intimidated by the Phillies lineup whatsoever. That's 3 winning decisions in a row for Nolan McLean. Now, it was good times for the Mets and bad times for Phillies fans. Here's Connor Thomas of Locked On Phillies, and frustrated might not be the right word to describe what he's feeling right here.
I mean, what do you even want me to say at this point about the Philadelphia Phillies playing against the New York Mets? There's nothing left to say. I'm Connor Thomas, your host of Locked On Phillies. Another night, another embarrassment. You want to know what happened in this series? The Phils went up to New York, and they got their teeth kicked in for 3 straight damn series. Just lack of fight in multiple games, lack of execution in all 3 games, bullpen rough at points, starting pitching, rough at points, defense, rough at points, base running, rough at points, coaching, rough at points, fielding, like everything. I don't even know what is wrong with this baseball team when they go to Citi Field, but they're mentally defeated the second they walk in that building. And that tells you something about the DNA of this team. Not being able to get up for this series, not being able to steal even a game, and it shouldn't be steal a game. Take a game, own it. But they don't have that. They don't have any ownership. The only one who owns anything is the Mets own the Phillies. We'll talk more on the next episode of Locked On Phillies.
JD, I mentioned this earlier in the week, but the Mets and Phillies have 10 games between now and the next time they meet for a 4-game set. Now, when all is said and done, is the Phillies' consistent play that they've had most of the season going to keep them at the top of the NL East, or is it going to take one of those Mets hot streaks coming in at just the right time that puts them in front of the Phillies for first place? What do you think?
Well, I tend to want to trust more veteran guys than going off a guy. Cowboy Ohtani, apparently his name, Nolan McLean's nickname, in case you hasn't heard about this yet. Instead of trusting a rookie who's got 3 major league starts, I'm going to trust a better rotation that's got a Christopher Sanchez and an Aaron Nola, who we know can do better things, a Jesus Luzardo. I'm not saying that this wasn't like devastating to the Phillies, because it's really got to hurt their ego and kind of bring them back down to earth a little bit. But I still have a tough time going with the Mets over the Phillies in a series that, where everybody's top guys are going.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, this makes me laugh because the Padres and the Mariners turned T-Mobile Park into a home run derby, Coors Field, if you will. We'll talk about that next on MLB Game Night.
Today's show being brought to you by Upside. So everydayers, are you still paying full price for gas? Is that you? Are you that guy? Stop leaving money behind. Get real cash back every time you fill up with the free Upside app. Simply download the free F-R-E-E. You heard me. Upside app in the App Store, Google Play. Do it right now. Start earning cash at the pump today. Use our limited time promo code, which is SEASON, SEASON, and get an extra 25 cents back per gallon on your first fill up. You could make up to $300 a year just from buying the gas that you already need. You just make money off of it. Real people, they're getting paid just to make their daily commutes, and you can too. Plus, you can cash out anytime you want to your bank account, to PayPal. You can do it on an e-gift card, Amazon, other brands as well. Don't let this offer drive on by. Download the free Upside app now using our limited time promo code SEASON for a limited time 25 cent per gallon bonus. That's promo code SEASON. Offers vary by user and location. Go to upside.com for terms and conditions.
We're keeping it going on an MLB Game Night, every game, every night, and we head up to Seattle, where the Padres and the Mariners, they've split the series so far, and they turned T-Mobile Park from a pitcher's park into Coors Field somehow. 11 home runs between these two teams after today's game, and it was a close one today, JD. Yu Darvish going for the Padres, and Brian, are you ready? Ready? Woo!
My man.
Brian Wu was on the mound for Seattle. Now, despite the Padres getting a rare earned run off Mariners closer Andres Munoz in the ninth, he held on to record his 31st save of the year in a Mariners 4-3 victory. We got Ty Dane Gonzalez of Locked On Mariners about why this homestand was so important for Seattle.
Huge homestand for the boys, and it cannot be overstated. They absolutely had to have a homestand just like this. This is Ty Dane Gonzalez, host of the Locked On Mariners podcast here. The Mariners had to stop the bleeding after that 2-7 nightmare of a road trip. Coming back home, coming back to where they have been so good, so dominant all year long, and they did just that. They take 2-3 from a pesky A's team and 2-3 from a very good Padres ball club, capping things off with a 4-3 victory over San Diego this afternoon. And it's games like this, against opponents like this, that the Mariners are going to have to win once October rolls around, where it doesn't look pretty. And the journey is a distant second to the destination. You just have to have enough offense and enough pitching to just get a little bit more than the other club. And that's exactly what happened today. Big 3-run home run for Eugenio Suarez. Big contributions out of the bullpen from Matt Brash and Edward Bizzardo. That's the winning formula. And hopefully they can take that winning formula back onto the road for another 3-series road trip starting on Friday in Cleveland. We'll talk about it on the Locked On Mariners podcast. See you then. Peace.
Yeah, all of a sudden, Seattle is just a game and a half back of the Astros for first place in the AL West after this series. So it's getting really interesting here at the end of the season. Let's take it to the Nationals, finishing up their series against the Yankees. The Yankees complete the sweep of the Nationals with an 11-2 victory. The highlight in this one, how about a 41-minute bottom of the third inning where the Yankees plated 9 runs, including 4 home runs from Aaron Judge, Cody Bellinger, Ben Rice, Ryan McMahon. Just turned this one upside down right out of the gate. And then they had Max Fried on the mound, who had a nice performance, 7 innings pitched, 4 hits, 1 earned run with 6 Ks. And the Yankees are going to finish up this sweep of the Nationals and then move on to the White Sox starting Thursday. Now, JD, we've heard from Brian of Locked On Yankees on this show. He said that this series is exactly the way it should be. You should be beating up on these bad teams, but you got to play up and play well against the good teams. But I just want to ask you, isn't there something to be said about dominating a team like this, going on to face the White Sox next? Like, you're starting a little win streak for yourself. Isn't there something to be said about that?
Just how you've seen the movie The Natural, right? Losing is a disease, So is winning. Winning is as contagious as losing is. And when you start feeling good about yourself and you're feeling confident, you play more loose. You just play better. You're having more fun. And when you end up doing what you did today against the Washington Nationals, and now you get a chance to go pick on another team that you should be able to sweep, you just got to make sure you take care of business, really. Right. But there should be no reason why they can't do that. The thing is, if you lose a couple games, then you're feeling crappy about yourself. So you got to kind of, make sure you take care of what you got to do. But, very impressive stuff by the Yankees in this series. And, it's so sexy watching them. And I'm not a Yankees fan or anything like that, but watching them just tee off on other teams, like for a whole, like, it's fun to watch, dude. It really is. And it's, there's so much upside for that team, and that, it's surprising that they've had the struggles that they have. I know they've lost some guys with injuries, and Devin Williams has had his issues and stuff, but man, that team can punish the baseball. So look out when October rolls around.
Yeah, they punished Nationals pitching all throughout this series, and the White Sox have a better pitching staff than the Nationals. But again, like you said, that winning is contagious. Winning solves everything, and hopefully it changes their mindset moving forward as we get into the end of the season. Let's keep it AL East for a little bit, with the Red Sox looking to keep their winning ways going in Baltimore. Now, they did take the series today with a 3-2 win over Baltimore. They'll look for the sweep tomorrow. Now, Gabby from Locked On Red Sox, she tells us why facing Boston should make other teams nervous. Let's hear from her.
Cedar Rafaela is getting back on track, and it should make people very nervous to face the Boston Red Sox. I'm Gabby Maljanian from Locked On Red Sox, and the Red Sox just beat the Orioles 3-2 in an absolute thriller in a game in which the offense was having a lot of trouble scoring. Brian Bayo pitched an absolute gem in this one, but the offense just could not get runs across. They had first and third, nobody out in the 8th inning, and could not score a run. So things were looking like they were a little bit in the dumps. And then in the 9th inning, Cedar Rafaela came up with a big 2-run homer to put the Red Sox on top, and then Aroldis Chapman came in and closed it out in the bottom of the 9th. Absolute thriller of a win for the Red Sox. Cedar Rafaela had been scuffling at the plate, but this is a huge moment for him. Hopefully leads to some more confidence moving forward, because he really does boost the Red Sox lineup when he's hitting well. I'm Gabby from Locked On Red Sox. Tune into the show on any podcast platform for more on this fun team.
Yeah, Cedar Rafaela had a great day. 2 for 4, a 2-run home run in the 9th, put the Red Sox on top. Roman Anthony had himself another leadoff home run to start this one as well. So again, the Red Sox.
Can I point out real quick for those of you who aren't watching on YouTube that you missed John doing the Thriller dance?
She said Thriller twice.
Every time Gabby says the word Thriller, all of a sudden the moves start happening from Michael Jackson's classic video. So feel free to do that in your car, wherever you're listening.
Absolutely. JD, will you take us to Toronto, where the Twins and the Blue Jays had themselves a nice little game today?
Now, every time I say it, you're going to do that dance, right? Because we had a thriller.
Oh, here we go.
Yeah, we had a thriller in Toronto as well after that shocking late-inning loss on Tuesday. The Blue Jays and Twins put on an offensive demonstration that saw the two teams combine for 17 runs, 24 hits, and 8 home runs. This time it was Toronto who rallied late, plating 3 in the 8th inning. That included a solo shot by Ty France. Davis Schneider, of all people, was the guy that hit 2 home runs for Toronto. Andres Jimenez went yard as well, along with France. For Minnesota, it was Byron Buxton. 2 home runs for him as well in that losing effort. Your boy, Luke Keeschel, hit his 4th home run. Pick him up in fantasy. Brooks Lee also went yard in this one. Toronto needed this one, obviously, because Boston and the Yankees just breathing down their necks in the American League East. So a fun, exciting thriller for the Toronto Blue Jays.
There you go. Hey, your daddy is back. That's Yordan Alvarez, actually. That's coming up next on MLB Game Night.
Today's show being brought to you by Gametime. Now, there's nothing like catching a baseball game live, but actually getting tickets, that can be the tough part. That can be the frustrating part. You're dealing with queues and login screens, and you got those surprise fees. It just takes all the fun out of grabbing the tickets that you want to go see the players and the teams that you want. And that's why we use Gametime at MLB Game Night, the app that gives the advantage back to the fans. It's fast, it's easy, it's backed by the Gametime guarantee, where you're always going to get 100% authentic tickets. They're going to get delivered on time and at the best price possible. Plus, all the fees are included. So the price you see is the price you pay. They don't sneak in an extra $5, $10, $15 like some of these other people. Honestly, it's faster, cheaper, and it's just less stressful. Who needs more stress in life, right? Do it with Gametime. Do it with Gametime when you're buying tickets. Download the app, create an account, use code LOCKEDONMLB for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, that promo code LOCKEDONMLB for $20 off. Swipe, tap, ticket, go. Download Gametime today.
Let's take it to the Diamondbacks meeting the Brewers, and these two have played a couple of back and forth games in the series so far, but the Brew Crew has been able to take those first 2 games of this 4-game set. And today was no different. It was another tight ball game, but instead of a slugfest, it was pretty close. It was a 3-2 win for Arizona behind a great start from Ryan Nelson. They got offense from Blaze Alexander. No, he's not a member of the Purple Cobras from Globo Gym, though it is funny he's on a snake team. And then Geraldo Perdomo, they both homered in this one. Was it clap, claps? Yeah, there you go. We're doing all the dance moves tonight. Let's go. The finger guns, the thriller, clap, claps. Let's take it to Chuck from Locked On Brewers. He's got some of the latest developments with the starting rotation and the Brewers bullpen.
I think the Brewers were going to get some magic going there late in the game. Just couldn't come up with the key hit. Then Monasterio singles and tries to stretch it to a double. Can't be doing that in the 9th inning unless it's a sure thing. Man, this kind of was a buzzkill for the Brewers right there. Hey, everybody, Chuck Freeman, Instant Reaction, Locked On Brewers. Brewers signed Eric Fetty today, and then he pitches 4 1/3, gave him a 2-run home run, scattered 8 hits, wasn't great. Started off good and then began to unravel a little bit. But that's where the Brewers are right now. Our tired bullpen. Trevor McGill goes on the injured list. That's not a good thing. And you got so many guys on the injured list. You got an exhausted pen. You were down to Easton McGee winning or losing that game toward the end if that game went to extras. Man, this is a team that's going through a tough stretch. Next off day is until Tuesday. Got Toronto coming up this weekend. A big game trying to win that series on Thursday afternoon, man. Man, these guys are exhausted with that pen. And it's the starting pitching, too. Starting pitching, not getting long starts. They had to use an opener tonight. Talk about all this coming up later on tonight in the next edition of Locked On Brewers. Please subscribe.
I couldn't help but notice, JD, you did the Ace Ventura when he mentioned Eric Fetty. Did the Brewers, did they fly too close to the sun? Are they burnt out right now? What do you think?
Let's put it this way. When you have to sign Eric Fetty, who was 4-12 with a 5.76 ERA, has already been let go by 2 teams.
Mm-hmm.
You got to sign him. That's how desperate you are. And you got to play him immediately. Throw him into the game to try and actually win. Like that's what you got. That means you're on fumes. You're in big trouble, Chuck. I texted him about it too. I just go, Eric Fetty? And he was like, dude, pitch at bat. And I'm like, bro, 8 hits against him and 4 1/3. The bases were loaded. He was about to get annihilated, and then they got a double play ball. They took him out. Like, he's not good, and that just shows you how desperate the Brewers are right now. So they're going to go through this funk for a little bit. Maybe they start to ramp things back up near the end of September and get hot again. But yeah, that's not a great look when teams like the Cardinals and the Braves are cutting you loose, and the Brewers have to rely on that guy. Not good.
Yeah. Maybe they were hoping they could have a little Brew Crew magic like they did with like Jose Quintana, right?
His first 3 innings, he threw shutout innings, and I was like tweeting. I was like, oh my God, Eric Petty he's been brewered. He's all of a sudden he's really good. And then it just went, it just disappeared. And everybody was like, see, he still sucks.
Let's take it to the AL Central. The Royals pick up the series win over the Chicago White Sox after getting shut out in the first game. They said, no, thank you. And then they put up a ton of runs on the White Sox. They took this one 12-1 against the Royals. Big day from Salvador Perez, getting close to 300 home runs. Yastrzemski with a 3-run home run. Bobby Witt Jr. with a 2 RBI day. The Pasquatch, Vinny Pasquantino, 2 RBIs of his own. Michael Garcia and Adam Frazier also contributed in this one, and a great starting pitching outing as well. Let's take it to the Rockies, meeting the Astros, where Yordan Alvarez returned to the Astros lineup in this series, and he'd be a big reason why the Astros took a 4-0 win behind Framber Valdez. Let's hear from Brett from Locked On Astros on Valdez's start and the big game for Yordan.
Well, the big fella did it. He hit a home run. His first home run since April 7th this season. You'll love to see it. The Astros win 4-0. And Framber Valdez tonight pitched excellent. They had lost the last 4 games that Framber had pitched and had gone on a streak at one point this season, winning 13 games in a row that he pitched where he was 10-0 in that stretch. So Framber turning it around, even if it's against the Colorado Rockies, it doesn't matter because it was a win that was needed. And Yordan, 4 walks and a home run today. That right there, folks, is 8 total bases. That's amazing. Good job, Yordan. Glad to have you back. And the Astros got one more game to win this series against the Rockies. Then they take on the Angels. And then the Yankees come to town. Stay tuned to Locked On Astros. We're your team every day. Go Stros.
Oh, good, great, wonderful. Yordan's back just in time to face the Angels. That's what I love to hear. Valdez was great. 7 shutout innings, 3 hits, 5 Ks, 12-7 on the year. Brian Abreu, another shutout inning. He took over the closer's role for Josh Hader. Hasn't allowed a run in 11 appearances in August. Let's take it to where the Guardians walked off on the Rays. They learned how to score some runs in this series versus Tampa. They took the series with a 4-3 walk-off thanks to Kyle Manzardo. And Justin from Locked On Guardians has the scoop on a not-so-normal game for the boys in Cleveland.
Probably the weirdest win of the year for the Cleveland Guardians, but at this point, we have to take any win we can get. What's up? Justin Latta here from Locked On Guardians. A 3-hit day from Will Wilson, including a safety squeeze that turned into an RBI single. Bunt. Nolan Jones hit his first home run since June 13th. He tied it in the 9th inning to send it to extra innings. Just all around weird. Kyle Manzardo, the game-winning hit in the 10th inning. You'll take that, as the Guardians had Manzardo and Capus in there against lefties. They didn't do any damage against lefties, but it's just part of the process of keeping them in there every day and letting them grow. And it all worked out. Slade Ciccone had a rough start to this game, but settled in the last 4 innings of his start to keep Tampa Bay off the board. Turned in a quality start. The bullpen did their thing, including Cade Smith. They did just enough. And we'll do more than just enough. We'll be at Locked On Guardians because we do our job every single day, and we make it easy for you to do your job. All you got to do is show up and listen. So we'll talk about that and more on the next Locked On Guardians.
Yeah, big day for the Guardians right there. Let's take it to the Tigers and the A's. The Tigers do not have an answer for the A's, do they, JD?
No, they did not. The offense has been humming for the A's. They've had all these young hitters and sluggers who are just, smashing the ball all over the place. But it was the pitching on Wednesday that actually steals the headlines. A's starter Luis Morales. Write that down if you're a fantasy person. Luis Morales made his 4th start, and it was the best one he's had in his young career. He goes 7 shutout innings, 7 Ks, just 2 hits against to nail down his 2nd career win. 98 like it's no big deal. Like it's so relaxed looking, and offensively, it was death by 1,000 cuts against Casey Mize and the Tigers. Every batter in the lineup for the A's had a hit except for J.J. Bleday. Sorry to call you out, J.J., but it's true. Zach Geloff, who's battled multiple injuries this year, just got called up, had been at AAA for most of the season, had the biggest hit of the game, 2-run shot in that second inning, his first of the season to make it 3-0. He ended up driving in 4 total in this game. A's go on to win it 7-0. They sweep the Tigers. First sweep at home in Sacramento. So congratulations to you guys there. And with that win, I hate to bring this up, but the Angels loss and the A's win technically puts the A's in 4th place and the Angels in last place in the American League West. Don't throw anything at me, John.
Yeah, that's what happens when you lose 8 of 9 series since the trade deadline. JD, tell us what went down in St. Louis versus the Pirates.
It was a pitcher's duel. People were really excited to see one of the Pirates pitchers in this one. Sonny Gray going up against Carmen Mlodzinski. No, that's not the guy that everybody was excited about, although the Carmen Mlodzinski pitched quite well, 1 run in 3 innings. But the guy they wanted to see was Roy Ruben Chandler. You know him better as Bubba. Bubba Chandler, number 1 pitching prospect in baseball in most circles, dazzled with 4 innings of shutout ball, striking out 3 and allowing just 2 runners to reach. Meanwhile, Sonny Gray, he was really good, dealing as well, 5 shutout innings, but then the 6th inning, there was a costly error on Wilson Contreras, which loaded up the bases. And of course, Tommy Pham comes up because he kills the Cardinals because he's a former Cardinal. 2-run single gives him a 2-1 lead. That's how it would finish. First major league win for Chandler, who was consistently hitting 98, 99. Very impressive stuff. And El Central's got some nice young arms coming up through the ranks with Chandler and Skeens and Chase Burns and The Miz in Milwaukee, maybe Liam Doyle at some point for the Cardinals. But, it's fun to keep an eye on stuff like that.
Yeah, if only the Pirates would actually do something this offseason and surround that talent with good talent. Let me run through these here. The Braves and the Marlins. The Braves took their 2-1 loss on Monday personally because after that, they've absolutely demolished the Marlins, including today. They won the series and the game 12-1 today. They scored 23 runs to the Marlins 3 over the last 2 days, and it was Profar with a 2-homer day. Ozzie Albies drove in 5. Matt Olson and Michael Harris II also homered. Marlins starter Ryan Gusto gave up 3 of those homers. And he also plunked Ronald Acuna Jr. after those homers and pitching with a little too much gusto, in my opinion. Then let me take you to the Bay Area. The Cubs are sitting atop the NL wildcard race, but the Giants are not making it easy on them. They've dropped the first 2 games of this series to San Francisco in a 12-3 win tonight. Rafi Devers drove in 5 with a double and a pair of homers. Giants rookie starter Carson Weisenhunt allowed 3 runs on 5 hits. JD, don't be such a Weisenhunt, okay? And really, it's just not been a great series for the Cubs against the Giants so far. Finally, oh boy, the Rangers rout the Angels.
The best for last, John. What did you guys do today?
Not even worth talking about. It was a 20-3 win for the Rangers. It was stupid, bad, dumb, awful, ridiculous.
Rangers missed the extra point, did they? Is that what happened in this one?
Yeah, basically. So, the Angels left their starter, Jack Ohanowitz, out to dry, and then they had 2 position players come in, and Oswald Peraza was one of them. He gave up 7, and, that's how they ended up. It was 13-3. Like, maybe you could stay in it, but no. Then 7 runs came across.
13-3.
For the 7 runs came across for the Rangers because of 2 position players pitching. So, yeah, the Angels fell to last place officially again because they're obviously competitive, according to the general manager. Thanks for joining us for this episode of Locked On MLB Game Night. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. And we hope you'll come back and join us next time on MLB Game Night, where it's every game, every night. Thriller.